Hello, my name is Angel Sandelson, and today I'm going to be talking about artificial intelligence and the impact that it's going to have on the graphic design industry. AI is the next evolution of the internet era. Open source machine learning algorithms are starting to build momentum, hurtling towards your profession at supersonic speed. The best thing we can do is ignore this and hope it goes away by itself, right? It's easy to dismiss any meaningful connection to be made between artificial intelligence and the creative industry as a whole, but this would represent a missed opportunity. What we learned from the Industrial Revolution and later the dot-com era is that change, albeit gradual technological advancements, have seismic effects on the workplace. What we're talking about with AI is different entirely. Given its ability to improve itself through machine learning, we truly have no agency to curb its rapid progress. So, how should we as designers approach this issue? Well, this is the very question that I aim to respond to. I'll share my process on working with artificial intelligence as a rapid prototyping and ideation tool for my graphic design projects, as well as give you tips on how to best take advantage of and adapt to the new groundbreaking technology. Part 1. Imagine. On March the 16th, 2023, Midjourney released version 5 of their AI image diffusion software. It was on this day that my perspective switched from "this could be a great tool in the future" to "this is the future, and I am just a meaningless particle of irrelevance floating in the ether." So, what caused me to have this somewhat melodramatic response to a piece of software, no less? Well, here it is. In comparing some images I generated from an earlier version of Midjourney called Stable Diffusion just a couple of short months ago, to what is currently capable of the software today in Midjourney version 5, it is clear that steps are being taken to improve the quality of the product at an exponential rate. The Turing test, originally called the imitation game by Alan Turing in 1950, is a test of a machine's ability to exhibit intelligent behavior equivalent to or indistinguishable from that of a human. It could be argued that AI is already exhibiting intelligent behavior, like ChatGPT-4 was able to be smart enough to pay an online human worker to solve captchas because the AI itself couldn't solve it. Here, the AI's behavior is certainly getting closer to being indistinguishable from a human in a digital sense, which is where most of our lives happen and revolve around on a daily basis. Have a look at these 4 images. Could you decipher the real from the generated? So, with the why out the way, let's move into discussing how exactly, as graphic designers, we are tailor-made to interface with these tools. Context is king. As designers, we are constantly pulling from a catalogue of visual references that we have built in our consciousness through our creative careers. Whether it's architecture, paintings, graffiti, fashion, or anything in between, the design that moves us as individuals is personal to our own unique curatorial abilities. To the AI, we are the content, and we are the curator, and with great power comes great responsibility. My first point is to not be afraid of writing contextual references into your prompts. This is where you can use your own experience of art history to create your creative solutions. Here are a few ways you can leverage context through your prompt writing. Number 1. Era. The words we use to describe periods and places in history carry so much meaning and complexity that they are incredibly useful when it comes to prompt writing. Some examples are Victorian, classical, medieval, modern, ancient Egyptian, and the list goes on. You should use these words as a suffix to any particular element you're looking to generate. For example, a chalice becomes a medieval style chalice, giving the AI more opportunity to build complexity and real historical relevance into the work you're making. Number 2. Style. Is there a current or past movement that should be reflected in the image style, location, or mood? Some examples are mid-century modern, Art Nouveau, Swiss style, modernist, constructivist, and pop. These types of additions to prompts should be built into the sentence structure for maximum effect. For example, a medieval style chalice is the subject of a collage in the style of Roy Lichtenstein. Number 3. Technical specifications. To finish out your prompt, you can use your technical and material knowledge to render your prompt in a way conducive to human behavior in image making. An example of this might be to specify that the image is produced using a specific camera and lens. For example, a Canon EOS R6 Mark II 50mm lens, or painted with an impasto technique. The limits on these technical aspects of your prompts are endless and should be endlessly explored. It's a good time in the video to give a little disclaimer that the technology is adapting and changing as we speak, and the structure of your prompt is less important than your own personal experimentation, your own voice, and your own story. So go wild, disrupt, and use the technology to your advantage. So, let's put our prompt together and run it through Midjourney version 5. By combining our subject of a chalice with an era and a style and a technical specification, we arrive at this prompt. A medieval style chalice is the subject of a pop art collage in the style of Roy Lichtenstein. Expressive paint strokes and colour halftone images build the basis for the composition. The artwork is displayed in a glass cube in the middle of a busy street in Paris. Versus a medieval chalice. Building your own experience, understanding, and way of talking will be the difference between interesting, unexpected, and engaging results, and derivative, expected, and stylistically mute generations. This leads me perfectly into what happens now. Whether you use the image you create as a springboard for further creative explorations, or you integrate the image directly into your workflow, it's important to understand and recognize that the artificial intelligence needs you more than you need it at the moment. What I mean by this is that images become much more interesting to chop, change, and interface with typographic structures, patterns, and other visual devices we use as designers to help articulate our concepts. So, now that we know a little bit more about how to write prompts, let's dive into the real applications of this software for graphic designers as of March 2023. Firstly, let's talk about mockups. I'm sure a lot of you watching this video right now can relate to spending hours browsing mockups to find the perfect solutions to best show off your designs. Often the level of detail and personalization in your branding or artworks greatly outmatches the originality of the mockup used to display your work. This leads many designers to utilize their own photoshopping skills to Frankenstein together more crafted and real ways to experience the designs we make. This way of working can be optimized and greatly improved through Midjourney. What's great about the weighting of prompts is that the importance and significance of any given word can be controlled by the user. For the example of mockups, we can use very simple devices like blank white box and blank white poster, which immediately establishes the point of focus for your image generation, We can then build our chosen backgrounds, lighting, location, material, camera, lens, and even our chosen photographer to be the tastemaker of our compositions. Here are some examples of using these prompt devices to create detailed packaging mockups. Next, let's talk about textures and marks. Textures and marks are a great place to start building useful assets for your graphic design projects. For example, paint splashes, water droplets, close-up fabric textures, and more have never been so accessible. How many times have you isolated a specific mark or section in a larger photograph to painstaking effect? With Midjourney, you have the option to specify the context your chosen element is pictured in. A tip I can offer to this effect is to situate your subject in a believable scenario to help the AI articulate your concept of what a photograph of paint splashes should realistically look like. Use your knowledge of photographic processes to help aid you, like you could say that your paint splash is photographed on an infinity table. Finally, let's talk about spatial renderings. Spatial renderings in Midjourney are improved but not realistic to the degree that they could be considered finished artwork. That's not to say that it's impossible to generate art of this ilk of current, but this is representative of my experience with the technology so far. I have no doubt that detailed generations of branded spaces will get closer to the realism that we require in coming months and years. It is, however, a great tool for storyboarding, ideation, and pitch presentations as it stands. Blend. Blending images together with Midjourney is a powerful tool that designers can utilize when testing concepts. The blend tool is where AI and Photoshop complement each other. Of course, using Photoshop to retouch and change the images you generate is useful, but Photoshop also becomes a useful tool prior to image generating, as I have found I get more desirable results when combining already treated images with filters, effects, transparent sections, and more. As for image quality, the program manages a resolution of 1024 by 1024. Running your images through AI image enhancement software is a must-try. I was recently turned on to let'senhance.io, and this is the program that I recommend using to scale up the resolution on AI-generated materials. A tool like Blend throws many things into question. Notably, what kind of ethical and copyright considerations should we be taking when using images of and by other people? Not just to be an inspiration, but to directly influence the visual outcome by up to 50%. An ethical consideration in relation to using AI images is who actually owns them. The answer for the moment is nobody. You cannot currently copyright claim ownership of anything generated by AI. The US Copyright Office has stated that AI-generated images are not protectable under current copyright law, as they are not the product of human authorship. I choose to see the emergence of artificial intelligence as a way to boost my productivity as an individual. If a piece of art can provide beauty, happiness, joy, and inspiration, whether it's created through a machine or through a person, or a mixture of both, we should be able to enjoy it the same. The question at its base level really becomes, do you think artificial intelligence is capable of spontaneous creativity? Maybe not today, but who knows where we'll be tomorrow. Be curious, explore, and thank you for watching.